So in this video, I want you to help me help you build your mental wealthness. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome back to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women who are getting happy, living longer and growing younger. Now this video is coming in 3 parts. I'm going to talk about something called smiling depression. I'm going to talk about your health, your mental wealthness, and then I'm going to talk about Mother's Day because I know it's Mother's Day in the US on Sunday. So let me start by saying, did you know, well of course you do know that it's May is Mental Health Awareness Month, raising awareness for those who are struggling with mental and behavioural problems of some kind. I want you to become aware of your own mental health, and I will be talking about mental wealthness. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, a rather grim statistic for you. According to the World Health Organization, they estimate that there are almost 265 million people around the world suffering from depression. 265 million people. And that's not counting those who are suffering from what's become known as smiling depression. You see, as you see here, I call it I'm fine, thank you depression. You know what I mean by that. I'm sure of it. I know what it means, smiling depression, because to a certain extent I suffer from that myself. I don't actually suffer from depression. However, I do when people ask me how I am. Regardless of how I am, I will say I'm fine, thank you. I'm sure you do the same. Now, I'm grieving. I am still grieving. We're 2 years down the line and I am grieving and I cry on a daily basis. Let me tell you, I cry on a daily basis 2 years down the line. So if any of you out there who are grieving and think anything along the lines of, I shouldn't be feeling like this now, well, I'm here to tell you, you should be feeling how you are feeling. I know I haven't talked about grief yet. I want to. I know I have a lot to offer. I need to be sure that I can talk about it basically without breaking down. Okay, so I've changed a lot. Grief has changed me a lot in terms of my personality and my demeanour. I know that. And when I do the research on things like depression and look at what we call depression, some of those things, like some of the things that I go through, could possibly be considered, but I don't consider myself as suffering from depression. I do consider myself as suffering from the I'm fine, thank you syndrome. Let's put it that way. Do you do that? Tell me in the comments box below. I'm lucky enough that I have people around me that I can speak openly to, which is obviously important. So yes, smiling depression, by the very nature of it, is secret. People are struggling and not telling anyone, and so they're certainly not getting treated, and the World Health Organization certainly doesn't know about it. So that figure, 265 million, is obviously way much of an underestimate. Now, I have had people suffering from depression in my groups, in my courses, and after they have okayed it with their practitioners, if they're clinically depressed, they've come to my courses and it has helped them. But I have to tell you that mental illness is not my field of expertise. I suppose you could say it's my area of expertise is mental wellness, but I prefer to say that my area is your mental wealth, mental wealthness. I said in my newsletter recently, there you go, I've created a new genre, mental wealthness. So what do I mean by that? Well, you may not be mentally ill, but are you in fact mentally well? this is where I want to talk about your awareness of your own mental health. You may have mental health, but do you have mental wealth? And that's what I see as my work as a positive psychology practitioner. It's about mental wealth. Okay, Christine, explain what you mean by that. Well, so for example then, we could say that someone who is suffering from mental illness, let's say they are withering on the vine, or they are withering and they need professional help for that. So let's say they may need the services of a counsellor, or they may need the services of a traditional psychologist for that to help them. Let's say they're suffering from clinical depression, and we can say that they are withering in that sense. But once they've healed from their mental illness, and let me throw hope out there, mark my words, there is healing for mental health if you get the right treatment for it. Make no mistake about that. But once someone is healed from their mental illness and they're not ill anymore, but nor are they well. So they kind of move from withering to languishing, as I call it, a state really where I think where many of us actually are, this state of languishing, where, you're not suffering from any particular illness of any kind, you're okay, your life is okay, you're just living an okay kind of life. That's where positive psychology comes in. That's certainly where I come in, because I don't want to be dealing with someone who's living just an okay kind of life. I want you thriving. So positive psychology takes the person from that languishing state to flourishing and to enjoying life. And mental wellness, for me, is a part of that. Okay, so what is mental wellness then? Let me tell you, I've kind of stolen this, or I've taken the definition of mental wealth from the definition of mental health by the World Health Organization. I've adapted it a little bit. So this is my definition of mental wealth. It's a state of being, a state of well-being, in which you can move to realise your own potential, cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively and fruitfully, enjoy life, and be able to make a contribution to your family and community. Now, it's pretty much like this links pretty much to the Conroy concept of happiness, because obviously your mental well-being is very much linked to your happiness. So, if you think building and maintaining wealth of any kind takes effort. It needs constant attention. It takes constant updating, nurturing if your wealth is going to grow. Just as if you are financially wealthy, then it means you have a great big stash of money saved that you can access for a rainy day. Well, it's the same thing with mental wellness. You have to have a mental resilience stash built for whatever life might throw at you next. So you have to keep building your mental resilience to prepare you for the bad times. And that's what this channel is all about, I think. So what I would like you to do this month is to let this month be a month where you consider your own mental wealth. Really look at your own mental wealth and see, where you are with that. So, for example, I want you to ask yourself these questions. If we go back to my definition of mental wellness, a state of well-being in which you can move to realise your own potential, cope with normal stresses, work productively and fruitfully, enjoy life and be able to make a contribution to your community and family. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. First of all, you need to journal about this. So jot these questions down and then sit down with a glass of wine at some point and give yourself an hour to really thrash through these questions. So ask yourself, what do you need right now in order to work towards achieving more of your own potential? And I say more of your own potential because personally, I don't believe if I thought I'd reached my potential, then I would just want to quietly go to sleep. I think we're striving more and more, and our potential grows as we strive. I don't think you ever actually reach your full potential. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments box below. So what do you need in order to keep moving towards achieving more of your potential? That's the first question. The second question is, what do you need right now that will help you to cope with life's stresses? What do you need? Okay, this is a lovely one for you to think about. What can you do more of in your life that you enjoy? That you enjoy. Don't forget yourself on your to-do list. This is what life's all about, guys. This is what life's all about. I know it's not all about enjoyment, but don't forget it altogether. Don't forget it altogether. Moments of pleasure, small and often, are what get you through the day. Who said that? Tell me in the comments box below if you know. Okay, and finally, a question of how can you be more present with your family and your community? Now, really give yourself some time to consider the answers to these questions and journal about them, but then take the necessary actions. And you know, these things are always ongoing, but I think once you actually become aware and question your own self-awareness about this, and then add to that the self-care that you need to achieve more of those things that I've just talked about there, then on an ongoing daily basis, you're going to be feeling better, you're going to be building resilience, and you are going to be building mental wellness that you will be able to call on should anything other than life's ordinary stresses come along. Okay, now talking about family, I know you celebrate Mother's Day in the US on Sunday. We celebrated Mother's Day way back in March, but I know you celebrate it this Sunday. And I want to give a shout out to one particular mum named Jean. Jean is the mother of one of Happy Stuff and Fluff's most loyal members, Marty. And she asked me, or she told me about her because she thought she believes her mum to be one of the extraordinary women that I talked about in an earlier video. Listen to what she says about her mum. She says, "My mum was an extraordinary woman. She was the strongest woman emotionally, mentally and spiritually that I've ever known. Always optimistic and positive, regardless of the circumstances, she was strength personified, especially during her battle with leukemia and lymphoma. How blessed I was to have her as a role model, and I find myself today often asking myself, what would Mum do in this situation?" Gosh, she sounds like an amazing woman, and I'd like to celebrate her. Jean, Marty's mum. This thing about what would Mum do in this situation, do you find yourself saying that? I do just the same. And very often I hear myself saying, "My mother used to say," followed by some pearl of wisdom that came from her. So I'd like to wish all of you happy Mother's Day, and to Marty, and to all of you and your mums who I have no doubt will be looking down upon you on Sunday. Celebrate the day. Just be present with your family and community if that's what happens for you on Mother's Day. Be present and celebrate the day. My best wishes go to you, and I'll see you next time. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Bye-bye.